Although the title race here in the Major League Division 2 has resolved down to just 2 teams, there's still plenty of intrigue for this season. Hello everyone, I am Metafiction. As I say, only 2 teams now in contention for the Division 2 title and automatic promotion to Division 1 for next season. The other team still with a chance of promotion, but will have to go through the relegation playoff. Certainly not a sure thing. Both teams involved would prefer, I would imagine, to go up automatically. Currently, CF Catalunya are in the lead in Division 2 in that automatic promotion spot. Jelahu Cosmico not far behind at all, only 3 points. Still plenty of time to overhaul them. It's going to be very interesting to see what effect today's matches have on that scenario. We'll start out first with Jelahu against Tokyo SC. Jelahu winners of 4 of their last 5. Come out in a 4-2-3-1 today. Meanwhile, Tokyo with a 4-2-4, only 1 win in their last 5. And you see confirmation, Catalunya and Jelahu both locked into at least playoffs. And we are underway. Tokyo getting us kicked off, going left to right in the pink and black. We are finding Duck. Adamu. All the way out to Eilish. And Eilish sending it out of play. Throw in for Tokyo deep in their own half. Romflex sending it back to Crying the goalkeeper. Risky pass. Kuniki was lurking. And Emerson again trying to win the ball away, but Tokyo able to break the press for a moment. Primaris over the top, finds Greer. Greer inside, and Yun just sends it wide. Well, it was a great move by Tokyo, but came to nothing in the end. At like 2%. Cross at the end line, and Kuniki, and that one's... Well, I don't know how they missed that one. Oh, that ball headed down by Emerson, and now Jelahu with a chance. Mizukana lifts it over the bar. Crying, finding Primaris, who can't control it. Chevalier, Kuniki over the top. That's headed away. Terrell now. Cuts it back. Chevalier takes the shot and skims the top of the net. Lee. Back to Adamu. Now Ronflex in the middle. Up forward to Ramos. Ramos crosses, and Jia Yun, if they're onside, has just made it 1-0 for Tokyo. They are looking at it, and it will stand. So let's see that again. Ramos there in the bottom right of your screen makes that run there to get onto the end of it, and there toward the center, Jia Yun getting in front of Okoro and just poking it into the net. Well timed by Tokyo. It is 0-1 to Jelahu versus Tokyo. Now Jelahu have a corner up in the air. Moretti heading in at goal, and that's just over the bar. Tokyo haven't had the best of seasons. A big win here could be a huge help for them. It might also, if they do win, hand the title to Catalunya. Remember, Cosmico 3 points down, so this would be a very important game for them. There's nothing they can do if they drop points here. Ronflex takes the shot, and Mobek right there to save it. Headed down by Eilish. Now here's Ramos. Ramos to face, and that's just over. Tokyo really throwing everything they've got at this Jelahu defense right now. All over the top, looking for face. Squares to Yun, and Yun, I don't know how Yun missed that. Genuinely, I have no clue. The ball was right in front of a wide open goal, but indeed, Tokyo do not score there. Well, how big of a deal will that be? Will Jelahu be able to capitalize on that huge miss? At like 2%, gets around Greer. Primaris trying to pursue. Forced in the corner, back for Mizukana. Mizukana into the middle. Emerson turns and shoots, and that's tipped away by Crying. Corner now to Jelahu at like 2%. Sends the ball in near post, and the header way too high. I was trying to find Yun in the middle, but it's intercepted, and now Jelahu coming forward again. Here's Warwick. Trying to get around Eilish. Puts the cross in, and that's headed up into the near post. And Crying pounces on it. Long ball from Crying, headed down by Moretti. Mizukana at like 2%, makes a run into the box. Good block from Duck. At like 2%, still with it. Now Mizukana. Chevalier, but a good challenge from Yun, and now the counterattack on for Tokyo. Ramos running up the field and brought down by Warwick. That is a foul. So a free kick to Tokyo there. Well, we're coming up on halftime, and Tokyo still in the lead, although Jelahu have had a lot of shots, a lot of chances. They just haven't been able to find that breakthrough. Here is a corner. We've had our 2 minutes of added time at like 2%, up into the air. And the referee's blown for a penalty here. Might have seen some pushing and shoving he didn't like. VAR's looking at it. And the penalty is given right before halftime. This could change the whole flow of the match. It's Emerson to take. And that gets past Crying, and Jelahu managed to level it just before the break. Well, that is a huge boost for Jelahu. Trying right, but dove too far. And that is the state of affairs at the half. Cosmic at half, down 1-0. But then, in the 4th minute, out of 2 minutes of added time, Jelahu Cosmico managed to level it. So it is 1-1 at the break, and I can imagine Tokyo fans less than pleased about that turn of events. But in a match so important to Jelahu's title hopes, it's a much-needed lifeline. You cannot underestimate the mental boost that an equalizer right before the half will have, and it's even better when it's a go-ahead goal right after the half. My goodness. Well, that was right from kickoff, this move. Kaniki trying to get around Lee, finding that great pass to Emerson. Monroe running in the middle, and Crying beaten at the near post by Benjamin Monroe. What a goal for Jelahu. And suddenly, either side of the break, Cosmico going in the span of about 3 minutes of game time from down 1-0 to up 2-1. Now the cross goes in, this time Crying able to hold on to it, but You could not ask for a better way to bookend halftime if you're a Shalahu fan. Remember, 3 points behind Catalonia. Catalonia could win the title today if Shalahu lose, or if they win or draw against Buenos Aires later on today. Shalahu needing to win, of course, but Warwick squaring it to Rigby Emerson, and they've got a third. Well, all of a sudden, this has turned into a very different game for both Shalahu and Tokyo. Here's Warwick. Managed to get around Runflex and go in to the box. Emerson was there, just poking beyond the back line. Got on the end of the cross and just redirected it into the net. Beautiful move by Cosmico. Trying the through ball there was Lee, but nothing doing. Tokyo perhaps shell-shocked after that absolute barrage of goals just now. Monroe in the center, and that's well over the bar. At like 2% with the corner kick. Near post up in the air, Monroe gets it down. Terrell, and that deflects in for Remy Terrell. And after such a struggle in the first half, Shalahu finally coming to life. At like 2%, and Terrell shot the ball. It looked like it was going directly at Crying, but I think it took a sizable deflection off of Duck. It's an unfortunate turn of events for Tokyo, but Shalahu now in dominant position, 4-1. And we are at the 60-minute mark. Ball over the top, finds Monroe. Monroe scuffs the finish. Kuniki. Mizukana back to Okoro. Warwick. Mizukana now. Shalahu again getting numbers forward. Back to Warwick. Chevalier. Shot blocked. Back to Warwick. And Lee clears. Greer now. Could make a run. Instead, Pat tries to pass off to Face, but gets the pass completely wrong. Tokyo have to find something if they're going to claw their way back into this match. Face losing out to Okoro there. Ball finds its way to Monroe. Monroe takes the shot. Crying just about tips it away. Corner comes in, up in the air. Okoro trying to head it at goal, but Crying able to stop it. Another corner in, up in the air. This time Okoro brings it down. Terrell takes a shot, but that's over. At like 2%, finding Emerson. Emerson takes the shot, and it looked like Adamu got a leg in there. Back to at like 2% on the corner. Moretti. Dribbling away from Yun, finds Okoro. And that move will come to nothing. Well, it's been an absolute barrage of shots from Shalahu. You have to say it's been fairly deserved that they're up 4-1. Despite that sluggish start, they've been very impressive in this second half. Long ball finds Warwick, but Yun intercepts, and now another chance for Tokyo, but Yun nearly losing out to Warwick, but Ramos gets to it. Ramos takes the shot, and that's just past the post. It was a good run by Ramos for Tokyo, but ultimately couldn't get it on target. Well, time winding down here as Jalahu looking to bank 3 points. Wasn't always the most comfortable situation, but then in the second half, they got what they needed. No Face has a second here for Tokyo if VAR allows it. They're checking the replay. It won't really do much to alter the result, but goal difference could be a factor, but it is disallowed. Let's look at this again. And Face just offside. And there you have it. Jalahu Cosmico needed 3 points, and they got 3 points. Wasn't always a sure thing as Jia Yun opened the scoring for Tokyo in the 14th minute. Then that penalty right on the end of halftime, right at halftime rather, by Rigby Emerson, drew Cosmico level, and then 3 goals in the second half really helped them pull away. Emerson is your player of the match, having scored a brace, including that penalty. Goals also for Monroe and Terrell. And as for Tokyo, Jia Yun's goal, the only consolation. A lot of bookings there for Tokyo. Trying to slow the game down didn't really work that well, unfortunately for them. But that was a crucial goal for this title race here in Division 2. Jalahu Cosmico now pulling level on points with Catalunya, meaning that while a win by Catalunya would not end the title race anymore, they can still make it very difficult going into Matchday 10, the final matchday. And it is Catalunya who are up next against Buenos Aires. Catalunya have won 5 games in a row now. And as things stand, they are level with Jalahu. And you see both teams on 22 points. Jalahu moving into first because of their superior goal difference. And I said at the tail end of that match, the goal difference will matter. Winning by 3 goals is enough to see them into first. Catalunya, though, will be looking to respond. It is Catalunya in the black and red going left to right. Buenos Aires in the primarily red kits. It is a kit class of Herculean proportions, I'm afraid, but we'll do our best to keep things straight here. Bakoko intercepting from Duck. Ruben taking it away from Jenkins, though. Now Lorenzo. Sending it all the way back to the keeper. Now Akom Gunnarsson. Criminal making a run up the near side. Scott took the touch, went down, but the referee said play on. Looked like a clean challenge from up here. Some appeals in the crowd for a penalty, but nothing doing. Corner now. Manis works it to O'Leary, and that goes wide. Lorenzo sending it again back to the keeper, Satoshi. Well over the top, and Jenkins now sending it back to the Catalonia keeper, Slothenberg. And again the long ball. While eventually finding Desgiron. Making a good run up the near wing. Ahmed takes the shot, and that floats over. Break on here for Catalonia. Here's Fuecoco. Up the wing to Salazar. Salazar runs into opposition, crosses in. Ahmed takes the shot. And again, Satoshi able to stop it. And that shot fizzes by the goalpost. Buenos Aires nearly with their first goal of the day. And the referee's given a penalty here to Catalonia. Or excuse me, to Buenos Aires. And it is in fact given. Well, it looked like a bit of a rough bit of play there. And now Sterling Scott steps up and tucks it past Slothenberg. Well, that is a huge moment just before halftime. A great shot by Scott. Gets it past Slothenberg, and Buenos Aires up 1-0, and that is something that Catalonia can ill afford in this title race. They've already seen Jalahou win. They know they can't win the title today. O'Leary takes the shot, and Sean O'Leary makes it 2. And it goes from bad to worse for break. Well, my goodness. How quickly the tables turn here in the SSL. Detrella got a foot in, but it deflected it past Slothenberg. Well, you hate to see that potentially deciding a title race, but that's a huge moment in this match. As it stands, Catalonia and Jalahou, remember, level on points. Jalahou have the better goal difference, and that's only going to be boosted by this match if Catalonia can't find a way back into it. We are underway in the second half. And here's Buenos Aires going left to right, who kick us off this side. Criminal loses out to Fry there. Now Ekholm Gunnarsson to Criminal. Scott already scored a penalty in this game. And Desgiron with the steal, but sending it back. Rivers trying to pass it through the middle, but Bonito now with a break for Catalonia. Here's Salazar. Salazar with a shot, and that's over. Desgiron trying to square it. Bonito was lurking, but Satoshi stops it. And that shot forces a corner. Desgiron will take it. Catalonia trying to close this gap a little bit. And Kawasaki goes down injured here. It was a dangerous challenge by Santori, who will get a yellow card. Now for Coco. Under pressure, cuts it back. Smith goes down in the box, but no foul given. Jenkins tracking it down. The ball falls to Rivers. Rivers making a run through the middle, over the top for O'Leary, who is surely offside. And indeed. Santori to O'Leary, takes the shot, and Slothenberg did really well to dive and stop that one. And had some real pep behind it. Kawasaki sends it back to the keeper. Jenkins. Coco. Threw ball to Benito. Benito wear it, but it's deflected away. Salazar trying again. Smith takes the shot. What a placement on that shot. Zyquar Delathon, Smith floats one in, and Catalunya have one back. And not a moment too soon. El Segadores needed something. And that's just a beautiful strike by ZVS. Less than 30 to play, and that's a huge boost for Catalunya. If they can get at least a point, they would have a leg up against Jalahu going to the final match of the season. As that corner goes in. Up in the air, Fry back to Dejeron, finding Jenkins at the end line. Smith. Back to Jenkins again, being pressured to the corner flag. Finding Nikolai Ahmed from the top of the box. And that is a moment of brilliance. A beautiful moment for Catalunya. Completely alone. Put it completely out of reach of Satoshi. And with 20 minutes to play, Catalunya find themselves potentially back on top of the table. There is, however, a corner for Buenos Aires, and there is still just under 20 minutes to play. Anything can happen in this league, and it usually does. Here's Ruben. And Slothenberg plucks it out of the air. Slothenberg going to need to be on absolutely incredible form over these last few minutes of the match to try and preserve Catalunya's point. Salazar. Detrella. Smith. Now Buenos Aires intercept. Bit of a miscommunication at the back. It falls to Salazar. Salazar with a shot, and a good save by Satoshi. Catalunya, of course, know that while a draw would be helpful, a win would be even better. Dejeron sending the ball in, up in the air, and Ruben heads it away. Lorenzo, less than 10 minutes to play. Ruben, Smith in pursuit. Ruben, cross in, sent away by Detrella. McManus sends it back. Lorenzo. Long ball over the top, headed back by Detrella, but Buenos Aires still in possession. Here's Rivers. Rivers over the top, finding Santori. Santori! And Jalahu are going to be singing the praises of Giacomo Santori if this result holds. It was a great run and a great ball over the top, but look at that finish from a tight angle at the opposite post. Santori just chipping it over the goalkeeper. Once again, Catalunya find themselves in a hole with a lot less time this time to deal with it. 4 minutes of added time is going to pass very quickly here. And that has just blown this wide open. As the final whistle goes here in Barcelona, Catalunya lose 2-3 to Buenos Aires. And what a goal that was by Giacomo Santori to win the game for Buenos Aires. Well, goals for ZVS and Ahmed looked like they had Catalunya at least a point there toward the end. But now they find themselves in real jeopardy of losing this title at the last second. Giacomo Santori, player of the match for Buenos Aires. Goals as well for Sterling Scott and Sean O'Leary. So with that result, Jalahu Cosmico and CF Catalunya level on points going into the final match day, and they play each other to determine who will go definitely to Division 1 next season. Well, that is going to be an absolute treat of a match. We can't wait to show that to you, but we do have one more match here today between SFE and AC Romana. Of course, with those top two spots locked up, this is all about draft position. SFE currently bottom of the table and holding the first overall pick. AC Romana, of course, perhaps a little too far away to catch up, but SFE could very well lose that first overall pick if they draw too many more games. Technically, they would need 2 wins overall. OSC would take first overall. Otherwise, any other result in either game, and SFV have the first overall pick locked up for next season. Suzuki, Clark, now Summers. Kapostli with a shot, and that's tipped over by Cronus. Clark delivers the corner kick. It's headed away. Suzuki, Clark again. Summers. And that shot from Topostli right into Hippity Hoppity. Now it's a free kick for Romana. Worked through. And that shot from Lichtsteiner onto the bar, and Lichtsteiner was offside. Goal kick for Romana. Cronus trying flip, and again. Now Sanji. Sanji crosses, and that shot by Pope Francis breaks the deadlock. Well, AC Romana with a great move here. Sanji getting onto the end of it. Cuts it back for Francis, and that's a great finish to the opposite post. Another chance here for Romana. Showman losing out, though, to Hakkinen. Hoppity intercepting the pass. Back for Riveras. Riveras past Hakkinen, crosses in, and Dobrich takes the shot, but it's a good save. And now the counterattack on for Schwarzwalder. Ultimately, of course, that comes to nothing. Xavier sends it long. Suzuki seems to be on the ground there at the other end of the pitch. And that shot over Showman, sending it over the bar. And Suzuki will finally see attention from the medical staff. Flip. Now Hoppity. Lichtsteiner. Now Riveras. Riveras cutting around Clark. Into the center, and Jesper Showman has just made it 2-0 to Romana. Well, as it stands, with the kind of season they've had, SFV should be glad that there isn't relegation to the minors. Nevertheless, Romana with a great move here, and Showman able to get free. There were a number of Romana players there to finish it if Showman wasn't up to it, but nevertheless, 2-0 to Romana now. Dobrich crosses in, finding Sanji, and it's a good header, but a little high. It was a great move up until that finish for Romana, nearly making it 3. Dobrich with the corner. Williams holding on. Long ball ultimately finding its way forward. Flip. And it's worked back to Cronus in goal. Hoppity, now Van Eindhoven. End line crosses, and Sanji was there, but Williams was as well. Now Williams. Summers. Mason takes the shot, and it's tipped over for a corner. Xavier crosses in, and Cronus able to hold on to it. Suzuki now. Into Clark. And that's going to go off for a corner kick. Clark's corner headed away. Suzuki. Mosley and Summers passing between each other. And that is how we are at the half. It is AC Romana 2, Schwarzwälder 0. It has been all Romana so far. An absolute barrage of shots. SFV just can't get anything going at the moment. It's looking increasingly likely that SFV will indeed have the first overall pick. We are underway here in the second half. Through ball to Showman. Showman takes the shot. And Williams pushes it behind. Dobrich. Finding Showman. Back to Dobrich. And Dobrich is offside. Stausch getting onto it. Dobrich back, and Showman. Apologies for that. I seem to have developed the hiccups. I've been trying to hide it for a few minutes now, but it seems like that's not going to help much. Nevertheless, it is SFV with the ball. Hiccups or no hiccups. As to Postley finds Hakkinen. Power. Power makes it 1-2. SFV having the deficit. Postley did really well to pick Power out here. And a great shot past Cronus. Is that enough to inspire them to get back into this match? Well, it's a corner for Romana. And what a shot! Apologies. It was such a good shot that I had to... It's Matthias Xavier who is blamed for the own goal there. Let's look at it again. Drilling it. And it took a touch off of Xavier. So the deficit restored to 2. And SFV's hard work effectively coming to nothing. Now Van Eindhoven finding Showman. And that shot goes wide. Van Eindhoven takes the shot, and that's just wide. I am really sorry about the hiccup. I promise it's not a bit. I don't know how it happened, but it's very inconvenient, and I can only apologize. Suzuki loses the ball, and the referee called a penalty because it looked like the foul happened just inside the box. VAR taking a look. And the referee confirms the decision. No penalty. It was just outside. Ball falls to Postley, and Wang Jihao says, I don't care if it's a penalty or not. I am scoring right now. Well, that is a huge moment here. Postley fighting Jihao, and just cannot give Jihao that much space. It's been a lesson that teams have learned for several seasons. So once again, SFV just 1 goal back of Romana. Suzuki. Back to Postley and Suzuki again, and that's over. Suzuki. Sanji. Counterattack here for Romana. Trying to find Showman, can't get on the end of it. Now Dobrich takes that shot from the free kick, and Williams holding on. Brilliant goalkeeping there. Jihao. Now to Postley. Finding Hakkinen behind the defense. And that's a corner kick. Less than 20 minutes to play. And SFV looking for that equalizer. It's headed away. Goes back to Cronus, though. Now Riveras. Ball finds its way to Power. Xavier losing out to Sanji. Now Dobrich takes a touch and fires it, and Williams able to save it. Showman to Dobrich. Showman nearly losing out, and that will go out for a throw-in. Hoppity. Up for Van Eindhoven. And that's crossed at the end line, and Jesper Showman with another goal. And that one could put Romana out of reach. It's a great cross there from Van Eindhoven. And Showman again with incredible finishing. So it is now Schwarzwälder 2, Romana 4. Suzuki finding Clark, and Clark just skidding it past the goalkeeper, but VAR wants a look. Well, every time they've gone 2 down, SFV have managed to score. But will this one count? It will. And once again, SFV back in the hunt for this match. Well, there you see Clark indeed onside. That was what VAR was checking. And so SFV still holding on. They've effectively got the first overall pick locked up regardless of what happens. Unless they win. As Topostli crosses in. Jihao nearly with another one of their own. Stausch. Dobrich, and what a sliding challenge that was. Power with an absolutely brutal tackle, and that is a red card for Cade Power. Just a lunging tackle there. And that's the last thing they needed right now. A straight red for Cade Power, and that might put any hopes of an equalizer out of SFV's mind entirely. Dobrich takes the shot from the free kick. Williams able to hold on to that one. And the final whistle goes, and SFV confirmed have the #1 overall pick in the Season 25 prospect draft. By virtue of their 3-4 defeat to AC Romana here today. It was a spirited effort by both teams. Jihao, of course, with the goal, Cade Power, who was sent off ultimately, and Zoe Clark. But ultimately, they could not overcome Romana's absolute thunderstorm. There was that own goal, of course, but Jesper Showman doing very well with a brace, and Pope Francis, with a goal as well. But it was Coroni Riveras who is your player of the match. So that'll do it for today's matches. Before we go, just one more look at the results. Cosmico with a 4-1 win over Tokyo that put them level on points with Catalonia. This along with Catalonia's loss to Buenos Aires 3-2, means that it is all to play for between those two teams on the final match day. Then, of course, SFV's first overall pick was confirmed by the loss to AC Romana. And then you see on the table, Jalahou and Catalonia level on 22 points each. And they play each other on match day 10. That is going to be an incredible showdown. And decide not just promotion, but the Division 2 title. And hopefully by then, I will have gotten rid of these hiccups. In any case, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll be here for the final match day. Until then, this has been Metafiction. Take care. I'm going to go drink some ice water or something.